Why is SAB Miller buying the Grolsch business? What makes it attractive to you?
Well, it's a fantastic brand. It's Northern European, it's fantastic product, it's got unimpeachable brewing credentials and authenticity and credibility, and it's a damn good product. So for anybody interested in developing their premium beer business, this is an absolute peach of a brand to get hold of. The second reason is that we see huge potential for it in our global footprint, particularly in markets like Latin America and Africa, where we've got strong route to market, but where the premium beer business is still in its infancy.
But why is SAB Miller buying yet another international brand?
Well, if you think of the way that the beer market's developed, and let's not forget that it started with the Egyptians, it's been a relatively recent phenomenon that there's been such a thing as premium beer. Really only, I guess from the end of World War II into the 1960s did that space develop in terms of what consumers wanted from the beer category. As that category develops, or that subcategory, the premium business develops, I think it's inevitable, like as in every other market in the world, it'll fragment. Consumer needs will become more sophisticated and more diverse. Now, our position is that over the long term, the sensible and the winning strategy in that space is to have a portfolio of brands to meet consumer needs as they evolve. Our international competitors, who started before us, we think have started with a strategy that's not going to have the same longevity, because they're essentially all of them playing with one or at most two brands to answer the needs in that space. And over the very long haul, that's going to be insufficient. So with the acquisition of Grolsch, we will now have 4 international premium brands. And that gives us a better strategic footprint to manage and deal with consumer tastes as they evolve in this, what is still very young, premium beer market space.
So why do you feel Grolsch specifically will enable you to get a bigger share of that international premium market?
Well, there are 3 reasons. The first one is that premium beer needs a category opener. To establish in consumers' heads that it's worthwhile paying a premium for beer, you need a category opener. And in the same way that French wine was the category opener in most of the world as to why you'd pay a lot of money for wine, Northern European-based lagers are the category opener for most consumers in markets where the premium sector has yet to develop to establish the credibility of paying that amount of money for a beer. Number 2, Grolsch itself is an absolutely great brand. It's got fantastic provenance, it's an extraordinarily good product with huge brewing credentials behind it, and it's known. It's not the most famous international brand in the world, but it's known and it has credibility. So we see it as a huge, in itself, opportunity to do that. And then thirdly, I think in the rest of the world, it complements the positionings, the needs answered by our existing 3 international brands very, very well to give us, even in developed markets, another string to our bow. What we now have is a portfolio where we answer at least 4 distinct sets of consumer needs. With Pilsner Urquell, the need to be seen as an aficionado, to drink the original. With Peroni, the need to be slightly more stylish than the run-of-the-mill premium drinker because it comes from Italy. With Miller Genuine Draft, the need to be seen as having a more fresh aspect outlook on life, to be cooler. And then finally, if we have Grolsch in our portfolio, we achieve 2 things. First of all, we fill a positioning which we think will exist in the premium beer space for a long time to be simply and unequivocally, uncomplicatedly the best because it comes from Northern Europe. And the other thing that that acquisition does for us is it gives us a category opener in a bunch of markets, predominantly for us Latin America and Africa, where the premium space is yet really to be occupied and created by anybody. So if you think about those things in combination, it's a fantastic asset for us to acquire. And I think we're a great vehicle for the delivery of Grolsch's long-term vision to be a big international brand.
So where then do you see the most attractive opportunities for Grolsch?
Well, within the businesses where we've got strong route to market and can really make things happen, it probably falls into 2 categories. The first category would be businesses like Russia and South Africa, where the premium category is already good and already strong, and where we're already a strong participant. And the second category would be markets in which the premium category is still in its infancy, and where we have the leading role in making that category really explode and really become significant, which would obviously be Latin America and Africa. And if you put those 2 together, it's a pretty powerful combination, I think, of strong route to market and a developed market, and strong route to market and a big category job to do. It's going to be an exciting prospect.
The international premium beer market is very competitive. You admit that you're a late entrant. What makes you think that you'll be successful?
3 reasons. First of all, we have been very successful and significantly more successful than competition over the last 5 or 6 years in growing our premium business. The premium business as a global aggregate has been growing between 3 and 6% depending on year, and over that same time period we've been growing at 16%. So, we've got a good track record. We're beginning to get this thing right. The second reason is that within that growth, one of our biggest successes in the last 2 or 3 years has been the rollout of Peroni across more and more markets around the world. That brand's been growing at double digits everywhere, and although we're still small, we're significantly bigger than when we started. We're sort of nudging north of 500,000 hectolitres right now. And the third reason is that we've really gone to school in this area. Because we were a late entrant, we studied what it takes to make international brands grow. We think we're beginning to understand that, and we're rolling those capabilities and those deep smarts through our organisation so that every business which has a premium offering to make to the consumer is getting better and better at understanding how you operationalise that through the route to market, through the marketing mix, through the way the brand is presented in the bar, and the quality that is delivered to consumers.
And so then you feel that that double-digit growth is sustainable?
I think it's sustainable through time, and particularly with the addition of the Grolsch brand to our portfolio.
Let's look at South Africa briefly. It's not long since your licence to distribute a Dutch beer brand there was revoked. Are you buying this brand to fill that gap?
No. We're buying this brand for its international potential. South Africa is part of that. I think it'll be a great addition to the portfolio in South Africa, but Grolsch has got a much, much broader global opportunity than South Africa alone.
So then finally, what other benefits do you see for SAB Miller in acquiring Grolsch?
I think Grolsch have demonstrated, unique almost, in the brewing industry ability to innovate around pack forms and pack types. I think they bring great brewing heritage and great brewing understanding, and I think they've brought a sort of a different dimension to some of the marketing tricks that premium brands employ, and I think all of those will be a very, very strong addition to our capability set.